Welcome to True You Ministries. I'm Stacy Echeverria, your pastoral counselor. I am a licensed pastoral counselor whose own journey has taught me the importance of having a safe place to discuss the harder issues of life. I'm so grateful that you've joined me this week. You can learn more about me and my heartfelt desire to help people much like yourself who may be at a place of pain and confusion by calling me at 626-461-3344. That's 626-461-3344. Or feel free to email me at info@trueyouministries.com. Now, sit back, listen, watch, and enjoy the show. And welcome to True You Ministries. I'm Stacy Echeverria, your host, and today I have with me the CEO and co-founder of Pro-Life Payments, Jared Huffman. Jared, welcome to the show.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for having me, Stacy.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a departure from my regular episodes. We're going to focus on talking about your business, what you offer, why people should consider switching over. And so before we get into all of that, let me just start with asking you a question. As the CEO and co-founder of Pro-Life Payments, what inspired you to get started in this industry?
That's a great question. So I've actually been in the industry, give or take, for about 15 years, going back to 2010, I think is when I first got into the payment space, really a
Mhm,
sales and marketing type position. And I've been in the merchant services world for that whole
mhm,
time,
mhm,
and I've learned a lot, and I've worked in many different capacities, but mainly customer facing, merchant facing. I have
mhm,
a very deep and wide understanding of what business owners are looking for when it comes to
mhm.
payment services.
And so how long have you been in where you're at right now with pro-life payments? When did that come about, and what was the catalyst in going in this direction?
Good question. I guess that kind of gets into my story.
Yeah.
In 2018, I had an encounter with the living Christ in my prayer closet, and
Wow.
it really shaped and paved the way for this business. And I wouldn't be here today if it were not for I guess that change in direction, that change in that encounter. So
Mm,
I went in not thinking about babies. I was just going to know God, to know Him, and to
right.
be with Him.
Yeah.
And it's funny, He deposited a piece of His broken heart for the unborn, is the best way I can describe
Mm,
it. And I left with a broken heart that's never
yeah.
been satiated. It's heartbreaking what's happening to the unborn, and
Yeah.
I was very apathetic before
Mm,
that. Unfortunately, I'm very ashamed to say that. I grew up knowing that it was wrong. I grew up in a Christian conservative home. I can't say I ever heard anything about it from the pulpit, which is
right. Yeah.
a tragedy in and of itself.
Yeah.
But I did hear a lot about it with my dad and everything, but I never lifted
Mm-hmm.
a finger for the unborn until
Mm,
2018. And I knew
okay.
something would happen, something would come from that, but I wasn't
Right.
sure what. And then fast
Right.
forward 2020 is when the Lord really started prompting me to make moves and to
Mm,
do something for the kingdom.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I think maybe one of the reasons why, and this is something that I hear quite a bit, why you won't hear it from the pulpit. I'll tell you right now, you'll hear it from the pulpit at the church that I go to.
Good for you.
It's a big deal. And my pastor's known around the country and probably worldwide. We've partnered with Love Life, who I believe is in South Carolina. So
Mm.
giving women and men a different option other than aborting their babies, but pregnancy centers and adoption and all of that. So I think one of the reasons why we don't hear, and in the 20 plus years that I've been walking with the Lord, it isn't until that I came to the church that I'm at currently that I've heard anything about abortion and speaking out about it,
Yeah.
speaking out against it. And I think it's because there is such a lie that we've believed within the kingdom of God that it's political and that we're not to get involved in that. And I'm like, murdering a baby in the womb is not political. This is a sin heart
It's
issue.
very black and white. The
Right,
left likes to pretend that it's a very nuanced issue, and it's very
right.
much not a nuanced issue. It's very
No,
much black and white. It's good or evil, left or right. There's really no in between.
no,
And
no, there
uh,
is.
and
There,
that's a
there isn't.
lie that they've been peddling for years and decades.
Oh, for decades, since the 60s and even far much longer than that. And so I believe we all, those of us that are believers that are walking with Christ, we have a duty to protect those in the womb and out of the womb. And we see, and we can go on a tangent on this one, and it is from the enemy, right? He comes at marriage, he comes at family, he comes at identity, he comes at the children, whether they're in the womb or out of the womb.
You're
I that
100%
I
correct. Yeah, he
and
hates the nuclear family.
yeah, he does. And the thing of it is, what's true about him as well is that everything that God has created, he hates. And
Right,
so that's why he comes
right.
after God's
And
creation.
creates counterfeits.
Correct. Correct. Because he can't
Um,
create anything new. So
no,
it's going to be fake. He's an
yeah,
imposter and all of that. I may end up getting some hate mail. It doesn't really matter. I really don't care. I'm going to
yeah,
be a voice for the unborn as well. And one of the reasons for me is just so I want my audience to know that this isn't just I'm having you on because I like what you're doing. I love what you're doing, but I'm also a new client of yours.
sure,
And
yeah,
so I'm a business owner. And over the last number of years, it's really interesting what came out of COVID,
right,
and that was the parallel economy. And
yeah,
we, as conservatives, as Christians, as patriots, we really needed to do that a long time ago. But
right,
I'm glad that it's happening now because there are better alternatives. So for me, it is really important for me as a follower of Christ, as a consumer, and as a business owner to align myself with products and services and business people whose values align with the Bible.
right,
That's
right.
important to me. Now, why? Because if I do not support abortion at all, why would I give my money to an organization, a company, where they're spending their money on things that don't align with my values? So
Mhm.
indirectly, I end up supporting things and organizations like Planned Parenthood that don't align with my values, and I don't want my money going there. So is it a slow turning ship? It absolutely is.
Yep,
And it takes time to make those changes. But speaking from my own experience, it's well worth it.
yeah.
It's well worth it. So I commend you for coming out into this arena in providing business owners like myself a better option. So let's get into that, right? Is there a way and do you ensure that the businesses you support align with the pro-life values?
Yes, 100%. So we're directly supporting are you talking about the clients that we're
Mhm.
serving,
Yeah,
or the organizations that we donate to?
actually the organizations that you donate to.
Yeah, yeah. So typically we're giving these to the Lord called me to fund the heroes on the front lines.
Hmm.
So that's
Okay.
what my team and I do. We fund the
Okay.
heroes on the front lines. These are men and women that might be out front on on a hot Tuesday afternoon praying for women as they go into the Planned Parenthoods across the country. That
Right.
could be the Pregnancy Resource Center that's providing diapers and ultrasounds, or that could be
Mhm.
one of what I call the pro-life hubs, right? Big
Mhm.
ones like Heartbeat International or Preborn or Save the Storks. I don't think we've given to Save the Storks, but we have given to a lot to Preborn and
Mhm.
Heartbeat International. And
Okay.
that money, those monies end up getting trickled down to all the pregnancy centers across the nation as well.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wow.
and depending on where we give to, and this is, I think, just a mind blowing stat when I heard about this, it's just
Okay.
absolutely mind blowing.
Okay.
We know that a life is priceless
Correct.
on our side, right?
Correct.
I think on the other side, not so much. But would you say that $500 to $700 is worth a life? And everybody would say yes, of course. But
Yeah.
that's these organizations have their models so finely tuned, and they've been doing it
Mhm.
so long, and they have
Mhm.
such great hearts, and they're truly what we call being in the pocket. I used to have
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
juice coach that used to talk about how jazz musicians, they get in the pocket, they get in the zone.
Yeah.
And these men and women that I get to deal with, because some of them are not only places that we send money, but we actually help them receive money. They're actually
Mm.
clients of ours, and they
Oh,
use
wow.
our donation and giving platform tools. And
Okay.
so hearing their story, it's just wow, God literally created this woman for such a time as this. This is
Right.
what she was
Right.
meant to do with her life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would say they are very much equipped to help a 16-year-old or a 15-year-old girl deal
Mm-hmm.
with that
Yeah.
turmoil that might come with a new pregnancy or unexpected pregnancy that I might not be well equipped for. But
Sure.
we do have the modeling, and I do have a team of successful business past and present business owners and entrepreneurial
Mm-hmm.
minded people, and we are equipped to send money and resources their direction. And
Wow.
everybody's got to, if you have a business or a nonprofit, you're taking payments in
Correct.
some capacity. Um,
Correct.
so we're not going to ask you to change your patterns, your shopping habits, or behaviors. We're just going to ask you to make one switch. What might
Mm.
take you an hour out of your life. Stacy, you can attest that it's been
Yep.
pretty painless so far, right?
So
You know,
easy. Very
we try to
seamless,
make it
which
really easy.
yeah, which I really appreciate.
But yeah, so we make a switch, and then everything's running like it's always been running. Like you've been running a
Yeah.
business. If you're a restaurateur, you're in
Yeah.
hospitality, or you got a trade, you're in the trades. It can be business as usual, or sometimes we might be able to even be able to upgrade the way you do business and help
Mhm.
you streamline your workflow flow with better technology or integrate into your
Mhm.
QuickBooks and things like that. There's a lot of cool things we can do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, thank you for sharing that. And so we're hearing about pregnancy centers, but what other types of organizations or ministries are eligible to receive donations through your giving model?
Actually, only pro-life organizations are
Okay,
eligible. Okay.
great.
And soon, at some point, right now, it's just really, I spend time in prayer. We'll discuss it with the team if there's a new pregnancy center that we're going to
Mhm.
give to. But
Mhm.
typically, we're praying about it. And if the Lord prompts us, we'll start giving to a pregnancy resource center in Colorado or something like that. At
Mhm.
some point down the line, we're going to have them qualified to receive those donations. They'll need to use our giving platform, which I think is fair.
Okay. Oh, absolutely.
But right now, we just have a handful of clients we
Mhm.
like donating.
Yeah,
So
that's wonderful. Yeah, so making that a requirement to for them to use your platform, and like you said, if they're a nonprofit, they can have a donate button on that as well, so that,
yeah,
not only receiving money from pro-life, but then also from the people that give to the people that end up donating to them,
sure.
they can get from a wider community of
Right. So
people.
we help them receive
Mhm.
donations, and sometimes it's a significant upgrade. Some of these people are using
Mhm.
PayPal, and PayPal
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
known for not only helping facilitate the inbound transactions, they help people take payments when they're trying to kill their baby. And
Right.
then they
Right.
also help pay for
Right.
out of state abortions. And then they're also a donor to Planned Parenthood. So they're just like the
Yeah.
worst. They got the trifecta going.
I
And
Oh,
um,
I know. It's awful.
it's so bad. And so when we are able to give them a way to make campaigns or giving funds, so some people might have an annual banquet or something that they have going on that they need to create a specific campaign for, and they want to
Yeah.
set a goal for $25,000. We can track
Right.
that for them.
Oh, great.
We have so it's very user friendly. It's drag and drop. It's a
Mhm.
no code solution, and it
Mhm.
also gives them the ability to accept Google Pay, Apple Pay, all debit and credit cards, ACH. They can also give the
Yeah.
donor the option to pass to absorb the
Yeah.
fee, which
Right.
93% of donors like to absorb the fee when they're giving to a nonprofit that's close to their heart.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a good platform. It's
Yeah.
a newer
Yeah.
platform,
Yeah.
and we're trying to get
Yeah.
it out there into the
Yeah.
marketplace. It's perfect for pregnancy resource centers and churches and things like that.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I'm
what's
actually
interesting
think
is, yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
no, actually thinking of so I owe monthly dues for my licensure as a pastoral counselor. And
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking to myself, they're using PayPal. I need to get in touch with them and tell them to give you a call or to
Right.
reach out
Right.
because why are they using PayPal? So I'm just thinking about that right now. All right, they're going to get a little email from me.
Stacy, what would blow your mind when I got into this, when the Lord pushed me into this in 2020, I knew that
Yeah,
the big tech Silicon Valley
yeah,
juggernauts in the payment space, the Squares, the Stripes, the PayPals, I would say Stripe isn't as bad as the other two, but the other two are
yeah.
definitely very much woke. And
Uh-huh.
I knew that they would be left leaning. They'd probably be into all
Yeah.
the weird stuff.
Mhm.
However, I was surprised and very upset once I found out that a lot of the donation platforms themselves are also supporting that weird stuff,
Yeah.
anti-biblical efforts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like PushPay, the conglomerate, the parent company of PushPay is all
Mm,
into women's LGBTQAI plus stuff, pro-abortion, strong pro-abortion advocates. And then there's others like QGive and Give Butter that
mm,
are open to those sort of things as well. We have blogs written on them. It's
interesting.
what's interesting is most of their business comes from faith-based nonprofits. And I just
Gosh.
think Satan is laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah. Yeah.
People are giving to their church or
Yes.
to their Christian
Yes.
ministry on
Yes.
rails that are demonic.
I know. And I'm thinking also about those fundraising platforms. Like I don't like GoFundMe. And I know
Mhm.
that there's Give, Send, Go,
Yep.
which is a Christian alternative. So
And I
they
know
are
them. They're
out
really
there.
nice people over there. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah. I know we talked about some of this already, but what would you say are the top reasons a Christian business owner should choose your service over a mainstream provider like PayPal, Square, Stripe? I know for me,
Yeah.
I mentioned my reasons why, and I do a lot of research. My husband has dubbed me the queen of research, so I wear it proudly. But anyway, that's just me. I do the
Yeah.
deeper dive.
I can see that.
Um,
I can see
and,
that.
I am that person. And I actually love research. So that's a good thing too. But the thing of it is, your fees are competitive, if not better than
Right.
what's out there. So for me, it was, and you and I connected a couple of years ago. I think I found you on Public Square. And I was like, "Oh,
Ah,
wow, I need to look into this." And my practice was just getting going, and I wasn't ready to do that. And I was with another Christian payment processing company, but I was just getting really tired of some of the stuff that was going on. And I have a refreshed website and on a different platform and needing to integrate, and that wasn't happening. And then I was like, "Oh, wait, let me get back in touch with Jared because I kept the emails." Right? And it just ended up making sense for me
and
to
it's good timing because
yes.
we've come such a long way since then,
Right.
and we have
Right.
way better partners in place, way better
Yeah.
software that we've built internally, better
Right.
systems, better
Yeah.
management, everything. We're just much further
Yeah.
along, and we've also
Yeah.
had some outside investment as well.
Yeah. So
Um,
timing's everything, right?
it's
So
really good. Yeah.
so I was just like, I really enjoyed our back and forth in email. And I know I had shared some information. Oh yeah, here's this directory, and that has changed, but just helping you also knowing about other businesses that are out there. For me, it was Christian, the pro-life, better fees, and obviously want to support other Christian business owners. But what would some other reasons be, right, for people making the switch?
Okay, so that's a good question. So I always want to start with people, and this came from my friend Dean Johnson. So if he hears this, I'll give him credit. But he said people are going to use pro-life payments. The people that use pro-life payments are people that want to save babies, and it's that simple.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's number one. And
Right.
it's we like to say we're making double the impact. It's I use the analogy. I typically when I go on a trip, I'll get zoned into a podcast or a sermon, and
Mhm.
I'll take the wrong exit, or I won't take the right exit, and I'll end up going 15 minutes in the wrong direction. And people say, "Oh, yeah, you lost 15 minutes." No, I really lost 30 minutes because I could have been going in the right direction. And that's the same concept with us is double the
Yeah.
impact. Not only is your money not going to the wrong things, but it's
Right.
going to the right things. If
Mhm.
enough people get a hold of that, then we can make a massive difference. It only
Yeah.
takes $218 million, and I know that's a lot of money, but
Mhm.
in the grand scheme of things, in the payment space, which is a multi-trillion-dollar industry globally,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not a lot of money. It's a drop in the
No.
bucket. $218
Right.
million is really all that these pregnancy resource centers and pro-life organizations need to stay afloat on an annual basis.
That's it?
So that's it. Yeah,
Wow.
our side is, and we're extremely underfunded. Our side, and Planned Parenthood
Yeah.
got $700 million from the Biden administration the last calendar year. So pregnancy resource centers are struggling to make ends meet in many scenarios. They don't have the
Yeah.
reach or the impact locally that they'd like.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, they just
Yeah.
need more resources. And this is just an
Yeah.
easy way for people to get
Yeah.
involved that might not
Yeah.
otherwise have a way to get involved. They're busy, they're
Right.
running their lives. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the reasons too that I like your platform is that there was the option of which the others didn't provide, and that was right. So there's the debit and the credit card, and there's going to be a fee associated with that.
Sure.
But then there was also the cash and the ACH option as
Yeah. Yeah.
which none of the other platforms that I used had that. And I really like that option. So rather than me, the merchant or the business owner, absorbing the fees when clients use a credit or a debit card, they get to choose whether or not they want to pay that or they're going to go the other way and do the cash or the ACH as
Yeah.
well.
I,
And
I
and
like
so
to
I
say
I
it
really
shouldn't
like that
be,
option.
yeah, it shouldn't be your responsibility to pay for
Right.
my wife's Old Navy points or whatever.
Exactly.
And that's really what it is. And so we give them a nice off ramp. So yeah, they
Yeah.
don't have to pay the credit
Yeah.
card fees, but if they
Right.
you don't have to pay them, they
Right.
could actually add that to their bill, that 3%, 3.5%, depending. They have a no fee alternative if they want to pay
Right.
with ACH online, which
Right.
works wonders when people are doing invoicing or B2B
Yeah.
or a trade type
Yeah.
business. It's good. It's a good
Yeah.
option.
Yeah. The other thing too for me, it was I was looking at streamlining everything that I was doing and not having this entity over here doing my newsletters, this over here with my payments, this over here and all of that. So I'm on a platform where I can streamline, but when it was such a hassle because with the payment because I had 3 different companies that I was
Mhm.
dealing with and I was
Oh,
getting
yeah.
dinged. I was getting like
Consolidation. Yeah, yeah.
one's the gateway, one's the bridge, one's the merge, and I'm like, why can't I just deal with one? And it ended up being where rather than saving me money monthly, and I did it for a month, and I went, this is a lot more money than they said I would be paying, and I'm really not happy about that.
Mm.
Even though I wanted the integration, I just thought it isn't worth it to me.
Yeah,
It's just not, and that's why I separated that out, and I went, "I am not doing that." It's okay, and I know that with the platform, the website, and the hosting platform that I am on, we would still have to figure out that bridge, but I'm like, "Nope, this is so much easier for me to do it," and I really don't have a problem with
right. And that's another perk, full integration.
yeah,
It's called integrated payments.
right.
Embedded payments is another term thrown across the
Mhm,
industry.
mhm,
And that is the future. And we believe
right.
we're at the tip of the spear with that, especially
Yeah,
amongst ISOs and ISVs.
mhm.
And yeah, it's a disjointed merchant experience or business owner experience when you have multiple logins. Nobody wants another
Ugh,
login.
my
You're signing
gosh.
up for one service, but you have
Right.
3, 4 different logins.
Yeah,
And
and that was my issue with
yeah,
my last
yeah.
yeah.
And multiple fees, because each one of those
Yes!
companies, one of those third parties
Yes!
has their own, they got to get a
Right!
piece of the pie.
And that was a thing that was not disclosed to me, so I was not a happy camper about that. And the really cool thing about me switching over to pro-life payments was that you were the one that onboarded me. And so, that's like the CEO and the co-founder of the organization onboarded my business. Whereas with the other, everything was, I didn't even get onto a phone call. It was just all via email.
Yeah.
And it was just so impersonal. And what it really felt like for me was that all they really cared about was the money and the fees that they were going to collect. Whereas we've had conversation, and I really appreciate that. And,
That
and
means a
I was
lot.
just,
That means a
yeah.
lot.
And,
Thank
and
you
I
for
was
that.
talking to a friend of mine earlier. I have an accountability call every couple of weeks with a therapist friend of mine. And those of us that are in the field that she and I are in, we do need that support in the work that we do. And she just said, yeah, customer service isn't what it used to be. It almost feels like an oxymoron these days.
Mm,
And then there's people like you and other people that provide what I am needing to run my business where I'm going, now that's customer service, right? Because
good.
what I don't think a lot of businesses realize that provide services, right, is that if you don't care for your clients in the way that they
Mhm.
need to be cared for, they will go somewhere else.
Right.
And so, not to take for granted that they'll just keep coming to me and they'll just keep using me. And it's, if you want customer loyalty, then you need to treat us well. And
Right.
so one of the issues that I have with internet providers is that it's always the new customers that get the better deal. And I'm going, wait a minute. What about your
And
loyal
people that have been
customer
paying
that's,
you for years.
yes.
You're
And
the
so they're like,
INs.
I don't have a problem going somewhere else. And I
Right.
mentioned that to one of the providers that we had. I said, this is a really bad model. The people that have been with you for a very long time need to be rewarded for their loyalty.
Well, and it's even worse. The longer that you stay, the more it costs. Every year they go up
Exactly.
on it.
I know. So every year we make the switch. Is it a hassle? It is, but it's, you know what? That's a bad business model. So anyway,
And I
I've
will
had
say, to tie
yeah,
that
go ahead.
back to pro-life payments, we do have
Yeah,
a flat fee model.
yeah,
Typically 80,
yeah,
90% of the merchants that we board, we have a flat fee model. So
yeah,
that includes our margins. So
right.
if the card brands push up their interchange costs, or essentially our wholesale costs, if that goes
Mm-hmm.
up, we
Hmm.
don't pass that on to the clients. We actually
Okay.
just don't make as much profit. It's a good
Yeah,
deal. We're not going to go up on people's rates
yeah,
unnecessarily.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I
so
appreciate that. Yeah. So then, is there anything else that you'd like to share? Because I have a couple more questions. What else would you want my audience to know? And I know there's some entrepreneurs. So if you're not happy with your payment processing merchant, and you're like, wait a minute, I really want to be working with companies whose values align with my own, seriously consider. And I'll have. Let me just do this right now. You can go onto the website at prolifepayments.com or call
mhm,
the 844 number 781-6070. But it's not going to cost you anything to reach out,
right.
get the information. Like for me, like I said a few years ago, it just wasn't the right timing for me to make the switch, but I'm in a different place in my business currently. And as you said, there's been a lot of improvements in software and all of that has made my onboarding experience seamless. So
Right.
is there anything else that you would like to share before I wrap up with a couple more questions?
Yeah, yeah, I would say so we're laser focused on nonprofits and for-profit businesses. We
Mm-hmm.
have a range of different products and services for profits. We can help with
Mm-hmm.
restaurants, we can do hospitality, POS. We have some very good POS partners that we
Okay.
work with that can get people set up, and typically the equipment is going to be free. Okay,
Okay.
so that's good to know. And then we
Yeah.
have some wonderful card not present software solutions like what Stacy is using for
Mm-hmm.
invoicing, payment
Mm-hmm.
links,
Mm-hmm.
e-commerce type
Mm-hmm.
tools,
Right.
shopping cart technology, and it's
Mm-hmm.
extremely affordable if you line it up against our competitors, okay? And a lot of times they don't have the compliant dual discounting technology that we do that
Right.
offset that fee. So that's important on the
Yeah.
for-profit side. And then on the
Uh-huh.
nonprofit side, while we might not well, I would say our software is not really set up currently in its current state to help like a mega church or something with 10 or
Mm-hmm.
15 locations or a huge
Mm-hmm.
diocese. It is actually very well suited for smaller 501c3s and churches and
Okay.
ministries,
Good.
Knights of Columbus councils. We have those that are onboarding, national right to life councils and things like that.
Wow.
We actually designed it for these ministries
Oh, wow.
based on our client feedback.
Mm.
So it's very much tailor made and well suited for them. And then if you're out there and you've got more money than you know what to do with, you need to get rid of it. It might be burning a hole in your pocket. We can take some off of your hands and you can invest in our company. And we believe that we can
Lovely.
10x, get you a 10x return on that money in the next 5 years and also
Mhm.
save babies. We are looking
Mhm.
for a very select few. I'm talking about 2 or 3 dependable and seasoned salespeople that would like to
Right.
actually get some territory and start working for us, and they can make about
Yeah.
200,000 a year and save 150 babies a year. And I don't know
Wow.
where else you can do that.
Wow.
So,
Wow. That's
anyways,
amazing.
yeah,
That's Now, are you familiar with Seth Gruber and his organization, the White Rose
I
Resistance?
am. I'm a big fan of theirs.
I know.
I consider myself a part of the White Rose Resistance in my own
Yes,
way.
I
We're
know.
actually going to start donating to him. And
Yeah,
I
I
did
do.
get to bump into him at the March for Life in the snow, I think 2
Oh,
years ago. So
oh,
I got to
wow.
shake his hand.
Wow.
We had a short conversation, and
Yeah.
I actually need to
Yeah,
reach
he
back out to him.
yeah, he's awesome. He's got an amazing documentary that came out last year, the 1916 Project in the book. And my husband and I donate to his organization monthly. And so
Good
we
for
got
you.
he sent us the book for free. And I was planning on buying it. And I'm like, I didn't order anything. What's going on? And I opened it up. I was like, oh gosh, this is so awesome. And it's a fabulous book. It's an amazing documentary. I ordered the DVD. They're going to be shipping out late May, but I was at a pro-life march as well. And there was some stuff going on in California. California, that's what I got. We've got crazy stuff going on here too. And he was there, and it was a peaceful protest. What was going on in the school, I believe it
Right.
was in like Ontario or Fontana or whatever. And he's really good friends with our pastor, or I'll just name him Pastor Jack Hibbs. A lot
Oh,
of
you go to Jack Hibbs's church?
I do.
When you said that at the beginning, I thought that might be Jack's church.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, there was the Love Life conference at the church a couple of years ago, and those are the folks that will pray at month. They pray monthly. They go to the Planned Parenthood in Pomona out here, and I didn't realize this. I've been living in Glendora for 15 years, in where I'm at, and a neighbor of mine wanted me to pick her up at the doctor's office where she was at, and I went. I was like, "There's a Planned Parenthood in my city." I didn't even know, because they're tucked away.
Right.
And
Right.
I was like, what in the world? So anyway, it's been really wonderful having you on the show. And one last question. Where do you see pro-life payments in the next 5 years? And how can clients or supporters be part of that vision?
The God-sized vision that I'm clinging to,
Mhm.
which makes me a little uncomfortable almost, even staying outside. But I think as Christians, we need to get out of our comfort zone and start thinking big,
Absolutely.
because we
Yep.
serve a big God.
Yeah.
And yeah, I see it being a billion-dollar company. And
Amen.
because my goal is to fund all of the pregnancy resource centers. Imagine if
Yeah.
these heroes on the front lines
Yeah.
weren't having to spend so much time fundraising, which they really
Yeah.
do. A
They do. I know.
disproportionate amount of their time, unfortunately, is keeping the lights on. You know what I
Oh my
mean?
gosh.
What if
Yeah.
every single one of them got a check every year?
Yeah.
And as the
That
body
would
of
be an
Christ, we have the ability to do that, and we should
I
be doing that.
Yes, I agree with you. And this is a thought that I'm going to put out there. Okay, so I'm going to challenge every single person that listens and watches, and please share, okay, is this. If you go to Starbucks, if you go to Coffee Bean or any other coffee shop every single day, average price is about $7, maybe more. Now,
Mhm.
could you skip 1 day a week and save that money and donate to a pregnancy resource center? That's $40 a month. Could you
Right,
do that?
right.
And I think you could. Even if it's $5, it is going to make such an impact if everyone in the kingdom would just,
Right.
here's the thing. Is it a sacrifice?
Probably not.
Probably not. So maybe a couple days a week you'd get out that coffee maker and make your own coffee at home.
Yeah,
And really think about, how do you want to invest in eternity?
right.
This is about investing in eternity.
These are real lives, and we have to
Yes.
almost pinch ourselves as a collective group. We have to almost
Yeah.
pinch ourselves, and oh my goodness,
Yeah.
we've really saved 25 babies so far.
I
And we
know.
have
I
we have
know.
one client that's
Yeah.
probably tracking to save about 13 babies a year.
Wow.
And he did it
13?
13 babies a year. He was able to
Right.
save money with us, saved him a
Wow.
few $100 a month. Not a ton of
Wow.
money, but we were able to save him,
Sure.
shave a little bit off. We gave him
Yeah.
a clean onboarding experience. This was about 2 years ago. Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
probably gonna save upwards to 13 babies this year.
Wow.
So,
And that's just one business.
that's just one business. So if you don't have the $40 a month and you can't
Right.
squeeze it, or you just can't get rid of that pumpkin latte out of your diet, please consider calling your rich uncle who's got a couple businesses and tell him to switch to pro-life payments.
Gosh. It's just Oh my God. I know. It's just crazy. And the thing of it is, I don't go to Starbucks. I
Right.
don't go to Starbucks for very specific reasons.
Right.
And it's because of what they believe. And
Right.
their values don't
Exactly.
align with mine. So
Yeah.
I'm not going there. But
Yeah.
every now and again, someone gives me a Starbucks gift card. And I'm like, dang it, the money's already been spent. So I'll just re-gift it. But yeah, so it's really, and I know, look, personally, I know that it is a lot of work to make those changes and to do the research. And here's the thing, just because I've made the switch doesn't mean that I don't keep tabs on who I've
Sure.
made the switch with, because you never know, anything could change. And
Right.
I also know that with you, when we talked recently, I said, oh, yeah, if I'm thinking about a merchant for whatever service I need, I'll go on to the World Economic Forum's website and I'll go
Yeah.
to
That's
their
brilliant.
partners page to see who partners with the WEF, all those businesses, and I won't do business with those folks. I just won't. Right. And
So
I do it also
so you
with
don't hang out with, you don't go to the Alps and ski with Klaus,
no, I don't. But
Mr.
here's the
Schwab.
thing. Even with where you're investing your money in terms of your retirement account, your brokerage accounts, all that, there's biblically, what is it called? Biblically based investment companies as well. And I have a
Sure.
company
Yep.
that I am with, biblically responsible. That's what it's called, biblically
Right.
responsible. So I'm with an organization right now that is Christian, and I am very clear, wherever the money is going, whatever stocks, bonds, whatever we're investing in, no companies whose values are not aligned with the Bible. I just
Right.
won't do it.
And that's how we strip Proverbs 13:22. The back end of that verse is the verse that the Lord gave me when we set this whole thing up. The wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. We are righteous by his blood alone, but we can't
Yeah.
claim that for ourselves. And there are wicked people at the top of these mountains. You got the
Yeah.
seven Lance
Yes.
Wallnau. Lance Wallnau, I'm sure you've
Yes.
heard of. So he
Yeah.
does the seven mountaintops of industry
Yep.
or something that
Yep.
we've
Hmm.
essentially we've abdicated our responsibilities and allowed
Yep.
scoundrels to
Yep.
run
Yep.
these industries, whether it be
Right.
education or the church or
Media.
media. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And what do you think is going to trickle down except wickedness and sin and brokenness and pain
Right.
and things like that? Because you've
Right.
got people that are
Right.
lost running it,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
blind leading the blind type thing. So
Yeah.
it's we need to get back into industry. Okay.
Yep.
Yes, we're called to the nations, but we're also called
Yes.
to the day to day,
Correct.
the boring merchant services stuff. Like, what are you good at, Mr. and Mrs. Christian? What are you good at? It doesn't. You
Right.
don't have to go on some exotic safari to
Yeah.
save the lost in a jungle somewhere. You can do
Yeah.
it with the
Yeah.
mundane.
I agree.
We
I
want
agree.
the Lord, even in the
Yeah.
small stuff. So
Yeah, I agree. And I know for me, my mission field is wherever the Lord has my feet going. It's
sure,
in my community, it's with the clients that I serve daily. I don't have to go to a foreign country. We've got a lot of lost, hurt, and broken people right here in our
right
own
here
country,
in your
in our
neighborhood.
own neighborhoods, maybe sitting next to us in church.
Absolutely.
So wherever we're called, go and do what the Lord has for you to do. Go do it. And I remember, I love this quote. I heard this years ago when I was in my Bible study with Bible Study Fellowship years ago. The Lord does not call the equipped, he equips the called.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
when the
and
Lord,
I actually that's literally just felt this the Holy Spirit, but
yeah,
because he gave me that a long time ago. But it's a little bit different. He doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. And if you would see the
amen.
people that have been
Yeah,
attracted to my
yeah,
company,
yeah,
I have no business with some of these gentlemen on our team. Like these are extremely seasoned,
wow,
vets in business. I have an Army
yeah,
Ranger, Brace McCoy, who's on our team,
yeah,
West
that's
Point
great.
grad, and we just have
Wow.
a slew of team members that are just above my pay grade that are on the team because they see the mission and it's just a complete God thing. So
Yeah,
it's been wonderful to see him move throughout these few
yeah.
years.
Yeah, that's so fantastic. Thank you so much. I know you're a busy guy, but thank you so much for coming on. And I felt just strongly about having you on and letting people know about you. I have a page on my website, Products I Love. Pro-life payments, I know, is not necessarily a product, it is a service. However, it's going up on my webpage because it's important that people know about you guys and what you're doing. And so you'll be going up there. I have a monthly newsletter. I will definitely be spotlighting the company because so many of the folks that get my newsletter, they're coaches, they're counselors, they're therapists, they're business people. And I just think it's really important, the work that you've been called to. And thank you so much for saying yes to the Lord.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for saying that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
And
humbled.
so, yeah. So if you want to reach out and you want to know more about pro-life payments, I know we've covered quite a bit here. Go to the website, prolifepayments.com, or go ahead and give them a call at 1-844-781-6070. I guarantee that you won't regret it. So thank you all so much for watching and listening, and may the Lord bless you today.
Bless you. Thank you, Stacy.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome.
You've been listening to True You Ministries with me, Stacy Echeverria, your pastoral counselor. I'm a licensed pastoral counselor whose own journey has taught me the importance of having a safe place to discuss the harder issues of life. You can learn more about me and my heartfelt desire to help people, much like yourself, who may be at a place of pain and confusion by calling me at 626-461-3344. That's 626-461-3344, or feel free to email me at info@trueyouministries.com. That email once again is info@trueyouministries.com. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and may God richly bless you.